Salute to all the Patreon members. Want to thank you guys for your support. Salute to all the subscribers, on the new viewers. I want to thank you guys for your support. I appreciate it. It really means a lot to me. All right, if you guys can do me a favor, please hit the link in the description box below for the Patreon page. That'll be great. Check out all the great videos I have on there. All right. Link in the description box below for the Facebook page. Come join other like-minded brothers who are chopping it up and sharing their experiences as well, traveling and whatnot. Hold on, let me get another swig. Excuse me. All right, so picture on the screen is AI generated. For the prompt, I typed in black man married to Latino woman. All right. Salute to questions answered. What's going on? Where you been? Yeah, you've been gone for like a couple months. Where you been? Did you get locked up somewhere? Brother must have got locked up in Chile. What happened? Where you been? Anyways, so let's jump right into the title. Is there a right time to get married for passport brothers? To be honest, there's never really a right time. There is and there isn't. All right. I advise you guys never to get married. Most women today ain't even talking about marriage. I think a lot of brothers that are getting married, they're the ones pushing marriage on women. And you hear them saying it, like when they hop on these platforms and they talk about their 2-3 year marriage. A lot of these women were saying how, like, yeah, I liked him a lot. Everything was going good. I don't know if I necessarily wanted to be married. I felt like it was the right thing to do. So I just said yes. I went along with it. But after a couple years in the marriage, I found out this wasn't my person. Great person, perfect person, wasn't my person. Okay. And then she filed for divorce, took the kids, took half and left. All right. A lot of women today, they're not even talking about marriage. Women talk about kids. A woman will straight up tell you when you're going to give me a baby. Their language don't even speak family. They don't want to be a family woman because there's certain rules that they got to abide by. And once they're tired of abiding by certain rules, then they just go pick another guy off the tree. They go pick up another guy from their DMs. All right. You would think nowadays, like some of the women you would think that wouldn't get a divorce, that would hold it down, that are solid, they're getting divorces or they've gotten divorces. Look at Tia Mowry and Corey Hardrick. Sometimes, like, you know, but my woman, she ain't like everybody else. My woman, 2-parent household, grew up in the church, eats dinner with her family every single night. She's a virgin, never had sex. I'm courting her. This was Tia Mowry. It might have been Tamara also, but Tamara, seemed like her marriage is lasting longer, and take a wild guess as to why. I could take a wild guess as to why, which ain't that wild to believe. But if you look at Tia and Corey Hardrick, what I just explained, that kind of woman I just explained, that was her. And She chose her DMs over her family. Think about that. Questions answered said, bro, long story. All I can say is thank God for abortion pills. My life is already tough. I don't need life to get more difficult. Oh man. Sorry to hear that. Did this happen in America or did this happen with a woman outside of America? Was she foreign? Salute to Philly. He said, did you hear about Travis Hunter having a baby with Leanna? Yeah, I heard about that. I think they want them to fail so bad, but I think she's going to stick it out with him because of all the y'all putting too much pressure on it. Like y'all putting so much pressure on her that she's already stressed out being with him now. Right? Imagine if she did leave him, how stressed out she would be. Imagine what y'all would do to her if she did divorce him. So it would be safer for her to stay with him than to leave him. Yes, rent free. I got to get a vasectomy. That's to go for a player like me this time. And age ain't it. If you got money, you straight. How old are you? I know there's a delay. So these are the questions that I have for you, questions and answers is the woman you got pregnant, was she American or was she a foreigner? And how old are you? In my 20s? Okay. You said this time and age. I thought you were a little bit older. And was she a foreigner? Was she American? By the way, I mean, as the length of time you was gone for, sound like she was American. Yeah, the amount of stress that you writing in the comment section, that don't sound like it was a foreigner. Foreigner, you'd be like, all right, whatever. That's cool. But this woman sound like she was American. Anyways, so you see these picture perfect Hallmark card families that you think that, you know, they give you inspiration, and that woman wants to be in her DMs, right? And, you know, on that little reality TV show that Tia Mowry put out, she was, you know, there was actually an interview. She said, like, well, also on the show, she said Corey was the only person I ever knew. He was the only man I ever slept with. He was the only person I ever loved. She crying on the show. I think even after the divorce, I think she still hasn't hooked up with anybody. I don't think this woman has had sex with anybody else besides her husband since the divorce. All right. And, you know, you kind of let social media dictate how you should feel or influence your feelings. And you know, social media, the internet, this is a weapon right here. This weapon can help your life. It could definitely ruin your relationship. Right. It definitely influences your relationships. I'll put it that way. It'll influence your relationship negatively. But that's not the topic. Is there a right time to get married? I would say don't get married, but the right time to get married is not when you put pressure on a woman for y'all to get married. The right time isn't when you get on one knee and ask her for a hand in marriage. The right time isn't when you pull out that ring and say, will you marry me? That's not really the right time when you should get married. All right. The right time and when you should get married is, what's this video? Damn, I should have had this video ready before I should have had this video ready and downloaded. I think I saw this video last week. I'll tell you this: the right time is when she proposes to you. That's when you should get married. If she proposes to you, that's when should get married. Now, when you see couples, when you see a woman getting proposed to, especially in the shade room, there's a lot of women, and there's definitely a lot of men who stand against that, who shit on that. All right. There's a lot of not only just women, but also men who stand against that. And I'm not against it. We live in modern times. A lot of women, they want to be strong, independent, head of the household. They want to be the dominant figures in the relationship and in the house that they obtain by the resources they pulled, right? In many cases, as you can see, a lot of it isn't based off hard work. I'm not saying women out there aren't hard workers, but they say more women now are homeowners than men. And most of that is women who won it in a divorce custody battle. And then on top of that, it's also women who want barking rights and bragging rights. I got a house, right? When there are brothers that just say, there are brothers who say, hey, it doesn't make sense for me to get a house. Why would I'm a single man with no kids. Why would I get a house? That don't make no sense. With an adjustable mortgage rate, why? What's the point? It's just me, right? I go to work, I come back home, I eat, sleep, shit, shave, shower, and I'm back to it. I don't know how far back this video was, but I can't find it. I wanted to play a video there was a white woman. I don't know if she was a celebrity or not. There was a white woman who proposed to her white boyfriend, and she got on her knee, but then he got down on his knee with her, right? And she proposed to him. That's really the only time. That's really the only right time to get married, because that means the woman is 100% ready. All right, 110% ready. You remember on the Kevin Samuels, what was rest in peace to Kevin Samuels. You remember when he was alive on his show, a lot of black women called in and bragged about being proposed to. They said that they've been engaged 3-4 times. And really, there's nothing to brag about. All right. But you're talking about 3 to 4 men who don't understand. 3 to 4 men in that situation with that one woman who did not understand women, didn't even understand her. Right. The biggest mistake is pushing marriage on somebody who does not want to be married. And then women, they get so caught up in their emotions and their feelings, they just might say yes just to go along with it when they really don't want to go along with it. And then in some cases, I heard CGA saying this. He said that, hey, a lot of women, they plan on a divorce when they're walking down the aisle because that's something they really didn't want to do. So, man, stop bringing up marriage. Stop pushing. Stop going ring shopping. Stop bringing up marriage. Stop worrying about, is your woman the right one to get married to? Just find you a good woman and let it ride. And if she want to get married, let her propose to you. Right? Let her put that pressure. That ain't really on you. And sometimes it's like, you got to ask yourself, why is she putting this much pressure on me? Why is she putting this much pressure on you? Are you in the top 10%, the top 5%? Are you a 5%er? Right? How's your resources looking? Sometimes some people will be around for 10, 15 years only to divorce you within 2. I'm stressed right now. These hoes know all about child support and men get it being more careful. We're all dogging them. Right time to get married is when she's not a feminist. Nah, that's not. It's still not the right time. Women are the majority in debt. RP the Godfather. Most women want a wedding, not an actual to be married. This is the thing, man. You gotta let them. If they want to be married, let them handle all that with you. You just sit back and do your thing, right? If they want to be married, because women you feel that are marriage material, like damn, I got 1 in a billion right here. I got me a Tia Mowry right here. Tia Mowry is influenced by her DMs and social media to leave her man and her family. That's one woman who did everything the right way, and women from the streets are telling her to get back with her husband. Most women don't really give that advice to women. That's the only woman I've seen where women from the street, big back ends and single mothers are telling her and have told her there's nothing out here in the streets for you. All right. The average man would look at somebody like a Tia Mowry and said, well, I'm going to wipe this woman up right here. This is a wife right here. She understands her role. You know, she hold down the house the way a woman's supposed to. I hold down the house a man's supposed to. She don't have no bodies. Right? Grew up with her mother and father. Her mother and father is still married. She don't have no tattoos. That's her natural hair. Grew up in the church. You're like, hey, this a wife right here. Only for 20 years later, 15 years later, for her to want to file for divorce from you and then run on to a talk show and say, hey, you know, I feel like with every relationship, you know, there's chapters, there's levels, you know, it's kind of like going to school. You completed this and now there's a graduation, and my divorce was a graduation. That bitch felt like she graduated to some higher level and something better after she broke up her family. And then you run then you do a reality TV show and you crying in every episode. You crying in every episode. I've accepted that it's all right if I don't find an actual good woman. Let me ask you a question. If you met the woman of your dreams and you find out she's a single mom, what would you do? There is no woman of my dreams that's a single mom. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as a single mom who's the woman of my dreams. You just like nowadays I've been skipping over single women or single moms. At one point in time, I used to be like, well, I mean, I could still fuck with a single mom, but I'm not taking it seriously. Right? Like if I'm fucking with a single mom, it's gonna be about 6 months before I leave. I give it 6 months and then I leave. I'm like, okay, cool. But she happened to be a single mom. How is she? What makes her the woman of my dreams, though? I've never given a single mom longer than 6 months. I've messed around with, how many single moms have I messed around with? 1, 2, 3. I can only remember 3. I can only remember 3. I can only think of 3. No, four. There was four. My bad. Four. I messed around with four single mothers, and none of it lasted 6 months. I've cut it off all within either at the 6 month mark or right or before the 6 month mark. Like, okay, cool. I got what I wanted. I'm gone. I'm not dealing with that. You started a family, go finish it. But see, the thing about it is with single mothers is the difference between a single woman who's not a virgin and a single mother who's obviously not a virgin is a single woman with no kids can tell you, hey, I dated that, but I don't want that. Right. At some point in time, she matured. And now it's kind of like, I don't, I got caught up emotionally with somebody when I was young. That's not something that I want. And now it's just like I'm mature and this is yada yada yada. Okay, cool, there's no kids and she's still young and we can move forward, right? If you truly don't want that, cool. Now you was with this person for one too many years, too long for you to be saying that's not what you wanted. But okay, I'm thinking you just saying that now to make yourself look good. But whatever, I'll somewhat take your word for it and move on. Single mothers, them single mothers that I met, see now I've met single mothers that I didn't have sex with, right? And I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm cool. Every single mother that I've ever met that I've had a conversation with asking about the father is always some fucked up dude that they chose to have a baby with. And I'm like, yeah, look, all right, cool, whatever. Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah, he ain't sure. What's happening tonight? It's a little cold out here. Let's go back to your spot, right? 6 months, I just can't stomach being around a single mother that long because really sooner than that. But and that's if she's fine enough. Like if I showed you all the single mothers I messed around with, they was fine, but they get comfortable and start turning into the bitch that a lot of women turn into in a relationship when they get too comfortable and they stop putting their best foot forward. They start doing that as well, and then that's when I'm like, okay, you do realize you're a single mom, right? Hold on, I could show you better than I could tell you. And single mothers, they think like they got the strong and well. I know one of the single mothers that I messed with. She's married now. This is her first time. This was her first time getting married. The dude she had that was just a baby daddy, and I think she told me the father would come around to see his son maybe like once a year, right? But here's the thing: you get with a fucked up dude, right? Actually, no, there was 5 single mothers that I fucked around with. My bad. There was 5. See, I forget all the. I'm talking about. These are just the single mothers. I forget all the women that I've been with sometimes, but there was 5. One of them, he like. One of them was like a dope fiend, and she told me the whole town was like, "Why the fuck you with him?" Right? Then the other one was like dumped in a trash can at birth and found in a trash can and been in foster care his whole life. So he never really stood a chance to like for him to live a regular life and be an upstanding law-abiding tax-paying citizen. That's a miracle for somebody who was found in a trash can as a baby, and then go through foster care his whole life, that person, you just like, hey man, they're not really gonna make it. They're not gonna make it. Then there was another one. I don't know. I guess they were just messing around in high school. There was two of them just messing around, and well, no, there was another one messing around with a dude in high school. And then most of these women that got pregnant by some goofy, some lame, the dude wanted to be with them. They wanted to stay. The woman didn't want to stay. The woman, like, she just wanted a baby. She just chose somebody for a baby so she could claim full custody in court. It's easier to claim full custody in court when there's somebody who's incompetent that you got pregnant by. They get full custody, they get all these benefits, and then they run around and play the victim when they purposefully chose that caliber of male to procreate with. Right? So with that being said, man, it's like it's a selfish act. It already shows how slow, how dumb, and how selfish you are, right? Because most of these women, they weren't living. Most of these single mothers I'm talking to you about, they weren't living like the life they could have been living had they just had a second income from a decent man in their household. You see what I'm saying? Most of these single mothers, they was living day by day. One of the single mothers who I was messing around with, I mean, her car kept getting towed. And her car would just sit in the pound for a long time. And when she would have to get it out, it was like $1,100, $1,200 every single time. She had a car that it's like she had a Pontiac. I'm like, I think Pontiac has been discontinued since the late 90s. What you still doing with a Pontiac? Right? Had all her friends were dusty. Right? All these women's friends were dusty. So most single moms, they're dusty. They're selfish. They think they're strong and independent. They'll use anybody just to get a baby. They'll use a criminal. They'll use a drug addict. They'll use somebody with mental trauma that needs therapy just to get a baby. Do you know how sickening that is? You targeting certain caliber of men just to get a baby and then demonize that man. You're not helping him. Or I left him because when I got pregnant, he said that let me take you to the abortion clinic. So when he said that, I vowed to never be with him again. No, that's not why. You targeted him. You are a predator. You're a predator. Oh, he's just a sperm donor. No, you're a predator. How selfish could you be to raise? And mind you, all these women that I'm telling you about, they lived a real raggedy lifestyle. Or they had other friends that were just as lost in the sauce as them. Right? They didn't provide the best living conditions for their children. Right? You didn't provide a family, a stable household for their children. Their children are living vicariously through you and only you and your side. Right? And the only reason why Like most of these women that were Canadian. I never messed around with a single mother. I take that back. Six. There were six women. There were six single mothers that I've they just keep popping. There was one in San Antonio that I slid in. Yes. There was one in San Antonio that I would, but that mouth was, she was a little bitty chick. I forgot her name, but I remember where she worked. Little bitty chick, Hispanic. Her mouth, like if a vacuum cleaner had lips, that was her mouth. Yeah, all right. So there was another one in San Antonio, but still she was living like a little raggedy life. She chose a bum, right? He was violent towards her and stuff like that. If you've ever been, you don't even have to have sex with a single mom or be in a relationship with a single mom. Just, you could talk to a single mom. You could have a conversation with a single mom, right? None of them ain't living right. None of them are living right. Because a single woman who's actually really, really getting to the bag and not in the sex industry, if you're talking about a woman who's getting to the bag and not in the sex industry, some of them, they don't even want kids. They're like, look, man, a kid will slow me down. They really don't want kids until it's like they in their 40s. A woman who's getting to the real bag, right? A woman getting to the bag and she's in the sex industry, it's like you horny all day. That's all you think about. That's all you think about. The outfit you're gonna wear that night, the perfume you're gonna wear, the glitter you're gonna put on your titties, right? The heels you're gonna wear, the moves you're gonna do. All you thinking about is sex. So it's they don't count. So they're bound to get, some of them, they didn't already got pregnant in high school, right? And if they didn't get pregnant in high school, they get pregnant on the job, right? Your whole life and whole world is just based around sex. You in the sex industry, whether that be stripping, escorting, whatever, busting it open on OnlyFans, busting it open on Instagram, or busting it open on Twitter. Your whole life revolves around sex in the sex industry. So yeah, it's that don't count. But a woman who's like accomplished and not in the sex industry, white collar world, business owner, a lot of these women don't have kids who's really getting to the bag. Some of these women, they be in relationships with other women, or when they decide to want to have a kid, they like 40 or in their 40s, right? And they're really thinking about, unfreezing their eggs. But when you don't give a child the opportunity to have a two-parent household, you are selfish. And that's like you putting a child, that's like putting a child in raising a child in a haunted house, right? A single mother. It's some scary shit that come out of a single mother's household and go in a single mother's household also. The things that they say, the things that they do, you're not really there to raise them. In the beginning, you got a babysitter. You can't wait to stop paying for a babysitter. You done exhausted all your other resources. Grandma tired of watching your kids. Like, yeah, I love my grandchild, but stop putting your kid on to me. right? Get your shit together. Where's the father? Then what do? You know, now like, okay, the kid's like 6 or 7. You're like, oh, I think they're old enough to walk to school, walk home from school, give them a key, get inside the house that you could barely afford. You expect them, hey, just go home and get on the iPad and relax. Don't do nothing. Make yourself a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You don't even make a meal for your kid. You don't have a meal prepared for your kid to come home while you still at work. Hey, just go in there, go. You see that aluminum foil? Grab that. That's your lunch. Heat it up, eat it, take it in the room, do your homework, go to sleep. You tell them to cook something. It ain't nothing but GMO foods up in the refrigerator. All that shit is Monsanto in the refrigerator. Now your kid's 6, 7 years old with silver caps in his mouth or her mouth. Already a pre-diabetic in elementary school, middle school. Big as hell. And some of these single mothers, it's like, man, I remember there was like, and then when you hear about because the majority of women that I've dated, all of them, I would say the majority of women that I've dated all were raised in a single mother household, and to hear the stories about, like, just to hear the abuse, right? Because there's some things that they'll tell you that's in their mind that's abusive, but there's some things that they'll tell you that they don't think is abusive that's abusive, right? There was one woman I dated. She told me that, because she ran track, I think she started running track like in the 8th grade, 9th grade. So somewhere around about 13, 14 years old, she got practice. She has track meets and stuff like that. So she would go to her mom and be like, hey, look, I have a track meet. Well, I need to go to practice. And her mom would just throw her the keys and say, take yourself. Now, while she was telling me, that's not like, she wasn't telling me as if that was abusive. That was abusive. That's abuse right there. See, some women, they'll tell you about the yelling, the physical things, but when they tell you stuff like that, that is horrible. That is beyond traumatic, because it's like your mom giving you the keys at 14 when you're not even old enough to drive. You don't have any driving skills, right? Most people, when they get into a car the first time, they floor it. And if there's objects too close around, you could definitely hit something, right? You've never really felt the tension of a steering wheel when you're turning while driving too. So you could overly turn and not realize that you're turning too hard. You see, like, that's abuse, because, man, you could mess around and get into a very horrible accident. You could get into an accident. You can arguably hurt yourself. You could hurt somebody else, especially a mother with children in the car, right? And that's a hefty charge right there. At worst, you could kill yourself operating a motor vehicle that young and you really don't know what you're doing. And then sometimes, like a kid, it's like, especially when you're experimenting with things in high school, you could be under the influence and hurt yourself or hurt somebody else. You could put a lot of people in danger doing that. And it's kind of like, if a mother does that, to me, the way I look at it is like, damn, they want something to happen to you if they do that. Hell yeah, single mothers are all looking for Captain Save a 304. They all got a trauma. They all got trauma, bro. Most single moms live in the most effed up places, unsafe as ghettos, I swear. Hell yeah, I know that's right. Without a man in the household, the past is only headed for destruction. Man, I'm telling you. And then some women, when you tell them like, children need their fathers, especially a boy needs a father. Well, she had a daughter, so it's cool. The daughter can just go with the mother and learn how to be a woman. No, the fuck she won't. Right? That's even worse. That's even worse. Women, man, when they have daughters, it's like there's so much tension in the household. It's so much anger. It's so much neglect. It's like a woman looking at the younger version of her. Body is tighter, right? They hate that. There's so much neglect and so much abuse between mother-daughter relationships in these households, especially single mother households, that it's ridiculous. It's way worse than them having boys than girls. And then now it's kind of like you trying to be the masculine and the feminine, and then your idea of being masculine is being like it's just cursing and being violent. And that's not masculinity at all, right? You're not a man. You're not as tall as a man. Your presence, the pheromones that you give off isn't a man. So in order to overcompensate for the lack of a man being in the household, you think, okay, I'm just going to eat, get big, right? Yell, curse, act crazy. And that's going to put fear into the child's heart. So they won't think I'm a pushover and get over me as if I'm some soft, nurturing target in the house. No, that's why you need a man in the household. And then your daughter will mess around and just to escape from you, to get away from you, they start dealing with guys much older than them when they're in high school. They get pregnant in high school. Just so it's like, okay, he got his own place. I could just leave and go over there and get away from my mom. Some women, like the younger generation now, they're going to school to get away from their mothers. Right? That's why they stress so much on education, because that's how they trauma bond. Right? They go to all these after school programs. They get into every sport, they get into every club. And sometimes it's not always about, I'm just an intellect, I just love people. I love, I'm active. No, it's just they do not want to go home. Anything to keep them away from home for an hour or two. So they graduate with honors, they graduate early, and then it's like that's education becomes like therapy. It's like trauma bond for them. And then here you come as a man who came from a two-parent household, and it's like anything you say that's trying to put us in the direction of a positive relationship, a positive path within the relationship, it's like it goes through one ear and out the other. They tired of being told what to do. This is like I can't fully give myself to you. Education and school, it's always been there for me because this was my safe place. You're not really a safe place. You're just a companion. You're a stress reliever, but I don't know how to bond with you. I don't know how to cope with you. I don't know how to build with you. I've never seen it. They've never seen it in their household. They've never seen it in other family members' households. They've never seen it in their friend's household. All they know is fucked up mothers, having babies, traumatic household. It's like sex, violence, sex trauma, poor, and education. That's pretty much what they know. But it's like family. That's to them. It's like ill, right? I was starting to do a live stream talking about, can you build with an independent woman? No, you can't build with an independent woman. Can you be in a relationship with an independent woman? No. You can have sex with an independent woman, right? But is that independent woman really going to be loyal? No. No. Could you get married to an independent woman? No. That defeats the whole purpose of being in a marriage. It's a marriage is teamwork. It's union. They don't want to team up with you. That's icky to them. It's disgusting to them. That's like cooties to them, right? But let me get back on topic, but I guess there wasn't much to say on this topic anyways, but man, let them propose to you. Let women propose to you. If they want to be married, show me that you want to be married. The problem is men, you try to plant seeds in a lot of women's minds. And the woman that I just described you earlier, you're trying to get that kind of woman who grew up in an environment with a single mother to marry you. And you're trying to show her a different life, something different. And it doesn't matter if you show anything different to them. They are who they are, right? It's like they're programmed. They've already been programmed a long time ago. And a lot of times people will say, well, this person needs therapy. This is that and the third. You need therapy before you get into a relationship because, if a woman is still seeing a therapist while she's getting with me, you can't be with me because that's like the way I take it, because you're not supposed to say therapy is bad. I'm not saying therapy is bad, but it's kind of like, if I'm in a relationship with you and I'm kind of giving you hints and tips and pointers and information on how to be a better companion with me, a better teammate for me and us to grow in this relationship, it's like women will skip over listening to you and listen to a therapist, right? And me personally, I take offense to that. I'm like, okay, so you're going to listen to a therapist over me? You want to pay $150 an hour for somebody, another single woman, to tell you what I'm telling you, and sometimes they're not even telling you what I'm telling you. They're telling you they're telling you the same thing your girlfriends are telling you. Oh man, just forget about it, start all over, go find somebody else. Are you happy? Oh, you're not happy? It's okay. Life goes on. Right? You don't have to be unhappy and stay with somebody. You're never going to be happy. I've had women ask me this question. I've seen women talk about this on YouTube. Would you stay in a marriage if you're unhappy? Men sacrifice their happiness for their family. Women sacrifice their family for their happiness. Right? What's the point of you even asking me that question? I know what you're going to say. What's the point? Women are unhappy. When women talk about the men that they left and they divorced, they say that, hey, he was perfect in every way. Some women will say he was perfect in every way. He just wasn't my person. So what did he do wrong? He didn't do nothing wrong. He just wasn't my person. So it's like, yeah, but I know, bro, don't get married. Women can change just like that. Modern women don't fear God or respect the family unit. Facts, we got to have proof they want a family, but beware the tribes. Men can endure trauma, women cannot. That's my honest opinion. Yeah, so I'm telling you, in some of these trauma, these women that like, I feel like a lot of people, they can go through that level of trauma and then outgrow it, and they can kind of, I know that's not a word, like they can kind of emotionally get over it themselves, talk about it here and there, and then it's kind of like I process it myself to where, my past hasn't affected my relationships with anybody else. It hasn't affected my well-being, right? I've gone through that, and some people could do that. A lot of people could do that. Right? A lot of other people are going to tell you otherwise. See, if somebody tells you, no, 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 you got to get the professional help. You got to get, I just told you it's not affecting me. Nah, there's some things that you can address. I'm telling you, get the professional help. They're great. It ain't your place to tell somebody that if they say they processed it and they're living a good life, they're in a healthy relationship, they're living a healthy life. Who are you to tell somebody that they need professional help? That's just another way of somebody saying, hey, you need God, you need Jesus. Because Jesus and therapy are two things you're not supposed to question. You're not supposed to say anything negative, so you're not supposed to question therapy or God, right? But some of you guys, well, I don't want to say you that's listening. What I see out here, um, some of y'all might be with somebody, and you know, I've been in situations where I was with, I'm with somebody, no tattoos, soft spoken, in shape, um, they're doing okay for themselves, crazy about you, but it's you can tell just by their verbiage and a lot of the things they say. It's like, okay, this person is not a wife, right? And when you kind of sit back and try to put your mindset in the mindset of an independent woman who probably grew up in a single mother household, you can almost imagine them thinking in their head, who the fuck said I wanted to be a wife? You see what I'm saying? You keep bringing up wife. You keep bringing up marriage. You keep bringing up family. I'm not bringing that up. And that's the thing. Like you're bringing up and pressuring tradition on women who are non-traditional, and that's not okay on your part. I'm blaming the men for this. That is not okay on your part. Every family, every sibling that they have come from broken homes, right? Grandparents aren't even together no more. Granddad got a girlfriend. Grandma got a boyfriend. This is the times that people are coming up in, and I know because I've never been with nobody over 27. Okay, my bad, 28. 28. I did. Hold on. I did. I've only I've only smashed. I've only goosed one woman that was like, I think she was 33 or 34. That was one time. We just had wild, freaky sex for a whole week, and then I blocked her. Um, So as far as being with somebody for a length of time, I've never been with anybody older than 28. I've never been in a relationship with a woman over 28. And as far as like goosing goes, there was only one woman I've ever goosed. I was in her that was over 28, and it lasted a week, and then I just said, "Nah, I'm cool," and I broke up with her. All right, but you cannot keep pressuring somebody who does not want to be married, and they're not going to tell you they don't want to be married. You have to know that they're not a wife, right? And that's okay. That's okay. And then sometimes women, they sit back and they look up and it's like, I've been with this man for 10 years. Then they start at some point in time, whatever that magic number is, they're going to say, hey, okay, we've been together this long. Like, maybe we should talk about marriage and this and the third. But you're not a wife. You got to be a wife for me to marry you. And some of these guys, man, they keep their options open, and then they monkey branch to another relationship with somebody who is a wife, and then they end up getting married like 6 months later down the line. Does that mean it's going to last the longest? No, but man, men are looking for some certain things in men are looking for things in a woman for them to want to marry them, right? For us to, because like they say that on average, men they pass before the women, right? Women typically outlive men. For me to pass down resources for you so that you're taken care of, our children is taken care of, right? When you get older, and you don't have to rely on the government because the government's not really going to take care of you, right? And then some of these women, it's like women just want babies. A lot of women who aren't wives, they just want babies because it's out of survival. It's out of survival. If I have 3 kids, one of them is going to be smart enough to take care of me when I get older. That's why a lot of women have kids. It's like, who needs the man? I got kids. They'll take care of me. I could turn dad against them. Men, we don't mind just living our days alone and then just passing away on that couch. We don't care. We'll go out like that. We'll pass away with our dick in our hand on the couch. We'll pass away with a PlayStation controller in our hand on the couch. Game still on. We don't care. Women, they need a support system. Men, we don't need a support system. We support ourselves for the most part. I mean, everybody needs help, a little bit of help, but man, look, especially with the economy, the way it's going now, things are being automated. A lot of jobs that women typically choose after, they're the first ones to go, especially Black women, because, I'm telling you, man, if you talk to Black women in these jobs that they work at, especially if there's other Black women that work with them, they're extremely catty. They're extreme. I remember I was trying to go somewhere with this one chick, but I'm like, there was certain things that I liked about her, but then I'm just like, nah, this ain't it. This ain't even worth having fun with, right? And she was a little bit too out of my age range that I like. She worked at a company where there was a lot of black women. Of course, it was overnight, right? Which that's a different video, right? The racial aspect in a lot of these companies where they'll act like, okay, yeah, we're diverse and everything, but you put all the black people overnight, right? She was working overnight. There was a lot of black women in her section, but then there was another room where it was just like all East Indian. So the job was segregated. The the least desirables, the the people of the dominant society work during the day. People who are black and Indians, they worked overnight. And they were segregated in different rooms. And she told me how, like, and she was light skinned too. She told me how, man, a lot of the darkest skinned women, they shitting on her because she light skinned, and they be bringing it up in meetings and telling the supervisor on me. And I don't discriminate against nobody because of skin color, whatever. But it's just she telling me all the shit that she's going through, and then in the same breath, she's talking about how, yeah, we don't need y'all men no more. We're strong and independent. We got jobs and this, that, and the third. You don't think that an employer would look to see, hey, look, we're automating a lot of these jobs or whatever. We need some people to kind of maintain the operations of some of these robots that are here or some things that are being automated. So we'll keep some, but we got to get rid of 60% of the workforce. Who do you think they're going to get rid of first? They're going to get rid of the black women first. Right? And then it's kind of like, even if they need humans, and there's a lot of women or men and women on the job, they're going to get rid of the black women first. Why? Because especially if they're okay with hiring immigrants, because for the price of one black woman, I could get 2 immigrants, because a black woman wants a livable wage to be able to take care of her kid, her home, not an apartment, her house, her car that she can't afford, that's way out of her means. They got to get a Benz crossover. They got to get a BMW crossover. They got to get a Range Rover. Right? You want a livable wage to take care of all of those things when, I can, which would probably be close or in the 6-figure range, when for the price of you wanting what you want, I could pay 2 people that come from India, who's a husband and a wife. I could split that salary in half, and they're looking out for each other, and they're able to maintain their home together, right, on that wage for the price of one. For the price of one, I could get 2. And a lot of women, especially a lot of sisters, they don't think that way. They don't think that way at all. So, I want to say this, man. Some people, like, marriage isn't on their mind. They look at marriage as if like now somebody's taking ownership of me. And more than likely it's a black man, and I don't even want to go deep into that. There's not really a whole lot of respect for us. You know what I'm saying? So you're already dealing with somebody who potentially doesn't even respect you, who look like you, don't even really respect you like that. It's just by osmosis, they don't really respect you like that. Then it's kind of like, I don't even want to take his last name. Right? I don't want this person thinking that they own me. I don't want to cook for you. I don't want to do anything for you. I don't want to play some role for you. I don't want to do this, that, and the third for you. Right. And hey, man, there's nothing wrong with that. You have to, some women, they might not verbally say that. You can feel it. You have to be able to pick up on those things. Guys just aren't really smart enough to pick up on some of those things. If you're not smart enough to pick up on those things, then you're going to enter, you're wasting your time getting fitted for a ring, going to a shop. There have been some relationships where I could see, like, hey, physically they're my type, but actions speak louder than words, and actions is telling me this person is not a wife. The things this person is saying, they're not a wife, right? The friends that they associate with, they're not a wife, right? Because married women don't associate with people like that. You got to let people go, even if that means you don't have any friends. There's just some people you got to let go. There's things you say that you have to let go. There's things you do that you have to let go, and there's people you have to let go if you want to be a wife or if you want to be in a marriage. A lot of women, especially black women, they don't want to do that. They don't even want to give up their social media for you. I actually, as a matter of fact, I actually got a video. I would have to upload it from my phone, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna just play the audio. Do I still have it? Where is 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 it? I can't find it. I saw it earlier today. Oh, here we go. Hold on.
If you had to delete all social media accounts to save,
mind you, this is a black woman.
If you had to delete all,
it's a show. It's like a panel. It's like several. I think it's like 5 black women, and they're discussing this topic. Hold on.
If you had to delete all social media accounts to save your relationship, would you do it without no hesitation?
Hey, boo, no.
Absolutely
not.
Yeah, I'm right with you when you're right. I'm not deleting anything, baby. I'm going to delete you before I delete those social media apps. I'm so sorry, especially in this day and age where social media plays a huge role in most people's careers. Absolutely not. Like, I'm not deleting anything. I'm so sorry.
I would like to know, what does it come down to that deleting
my social media is going to help our relationship? Child, I would have to hit somebody.
What has happened?
Listen, Linda, what I want to say is at this point, okay, deleting social media might just save the world, okay?
If that man is asking you to delete your social media, you need to delete his butt. And drop down in our comments and let us know, would you or would you not? And if you say you would, we're going to judge you and we're going to get back to the show.
Mind you, these are all women in their 40s and 50s that are single. None of them are married. All right. So you are a different, you're the 1% out there. If you're a man that you want to be married, I think most men want to be married, right? Regardless of what men say, most men want to be married. Most men are marriage minded, right? Contrary to popular belief, women don't think so. I hate when women tell me, man, all men want is sex. No, they want sex from you. You don't offer anything more than just sex. You're not offering anything more than just sex. Or most women don't offer anything more today, don't offer anything more than just sex, right? They don't know how to contribute into a relationship or contribute or put themselves out there to be chosen as a wife to a significant other, right? You didn't have that family dynamic at home. So what do? Right? They just blame men. But if I see a woman, if I see a girlfriend, if I see a wife, then you're not just going to get chosen just for sex. Right? There's some women that you can enter into a situationship and she'll, like, not even from the gate be like, hey, look, this is what I'm looking for, or ask the man, is he marriage minded? You know, are you looking for a relationship? I'm looking for a relationship. I can't be with somebody. If I'm not in a relationship, I'm not doing the whole, you know, we just shacking up and seeing people over here and this is that and the third. I have respect for myself, yada, yada, yada. You don't, there's a lot of women that don't even present themselves like that when they meet up with somebody. It's like, okay, all right, we fucking, that's cool, because I got other dudes too that I could pick up off the lineup. I got other dudes I could pick up off the assembly line. If that's what you want, I'm not asking you about yours. And then you mad when somebody just said, well, you know, this dude that I met, you know, it seemed like things were going cool, but I ain't heard from him in like 3 weeks. And we all in a relationship? No, we was just seeing each other. Man, you just, if you present yourself out there like that, if there's nothing more to you than just sex, then that's how people are gonna, man, if I see a water fountain and I'm thirsty, I'm gonna utilize that water fountain, especially if it works, and especially if the water is cold. I'm not gonna shit in the water fountain, because it's not a toilet. That's not what it's made for, right? If I see a toilet and I need to shit, I'm gonna shit in the toilet. I'm not gonna drink from the toilet because it's not a water fountain, right? If you're not a wife, I'm not gonna wife you because you're not a wife. You're somebody to piss and come in. That's all you present to me. If you were a wife, then yeah, I'll utilize you as a wife. But the only right time to get married is don't, as a matter of fact, don't ever get marriage out of your vocabulary. Don't pressure marriage on nobody. All right. Keep your options open. Don't even pressure a relationship on some of these women. Keep your options open. Get to know these women, because let me tell you, there are women out here that they're not even really ready for a relationship, right? You want a relationship with this person because you don't want nobody else to fuck her. That's why you want to get into a relationship, when this woman isn't even ready for a relationship. This woman can't even throw away her ex-boyfriend's pictures. She don't even want to throw away her ex-boyfriend's pictures, and you want to get into a relationship with this person? She can't even take accountability, and you want to get into a relationship with this person? She don't even want to cook for you, and you want to get into a marriage with this person? She don't even want to tell you where she's going. You want to get into a marriage with this person? She don't even want to take accountability. You want to get into a relationship or a marriage with this person? She don't want to even block the men in her DMs that are just sending her the most thirsty graphic shit. If you want to get into a marriage with this person? And this might be controversial. She got a lock on her phone. She don't even want to let you see what's in her phone. And you want to get into a marriage with this person? So, man, I don't put pressure on women. Well, now I'll say this now, because I'm not perfect, right? But now, because, you know, some guys, if you're very observant and you're sharp, mentally sharp, man, the game is always changing, and you really don't catch up with how you need to move until you in your 40s, right, or close to it. So look here. I'm not no. I ain't putting pressure on no woman for marriage. You got to put pressure on me to get married. You got to get down on one knee for me to get married. You got to show me that you want to be married. You don't put it out there. You don't put it on a woman's mind because you only doing it for yourself. You doing it because you like her so much you don't want nobody else to fuck her. Right? Then it's like you overlooked a lot of things because you mystified by your own emotions. You overlook a lot of things. You know what? Sometimes, like, you don't, whether you break up with somebody or a woman broke up with you, sometimes you don't realize that, hey, maybe it really was best for us not to be together until maybe a year or two later when you've given it quite a bit of thought. Like, damn, like I wasn't supposed to be with that person. Look what this person used to say to me. Look what this person used to do to me. Look how disrespectful this person was. This person didn't have no respect for me. Marriage, we weren't even supposed to, that little thing that we had, it wasn't even supposed to last 2 months. We was just supposed to have fun and move on. Right? You're doing too much. So marriage, man, look. And then you can find somebody who, doesn't seek attention, doesn't have social media, not out at the clubs, right? She could be a virgin, family, young, eat dinner with her family every single night, no tattoos, natural hair, cook for you all the time, concern about your well-being, great communication skills. All that could be in place with somebody and they could still not be the one for marriage, right? You see that, and now you putting pressure like, nah, man. That woman got to show you that she want to be married because what's in it for me? I know there's something in it for her, but what's in it for me? What am I getting? I'm supposed to get a wife. I'm not trying to take you off the market because I like you and I don't want nobody else to have you. No, like I don't care if somebody else wants you. How are you a benefit to me in my life? What about me? See, that's the thing. A lot of women, they'll get into a relationship and if you let them talk long enough, it's like, I want this, I want that, I want this. Okay, anything else? That's it. Okay, well, don't you think that there's some things that I want and need in a relationship too? Have you ever taken in consideration about that? What do you think I might want and need in a relationship? A woman with straight up, they'll be 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29 years old and tell you, I don't know, tell me. You don't have an idea as to what I want or need? Just in general, you don't have an idea as to what a man wants and needs in a relationship? You don't have an idea what a man wants and likes? You don't have an idea what I might like in a relationship? Oh, you don't? Do you care to know? No, you way too old for that. You're too old. So no, I'm not pressuring nobody for not marriage, right? And even if a woman puts pressure on me, it still might be no, right? It still might be no. I wonder what the percentage is for How long do marriages last? Do they last longer if the woman gets on one knee and proposes to the man? I wonder how long those marriages last. They might last longer. See, I wouldn't mind it. I'd preferably rather be married to a woman from another country, but I wouldn't mind it. But I man, that fire got to be in a woman that really wants it, because that woman just crazy about me, right? You know, that woman's my best friend. That woman is like, you know, my rock, my foundation. I haven't, me personally, I've never met a woman like that. Most of these women today, it's just, I haven't, respectfully, I haven't met one woman who was worth more than a damn. Especially them single mothers we was talking about earlier. Oh, they would always cook for themselves and a son or their daughter. Wouldn't leave me nothing. Come home, motherfucking dirty dishes all in the motherfucking sink. Roaches, nah. Pot empty, dishes all dirty in the sink. No. Because I play to win. I play like I'm a teammate in this, right? This ain't tennis. This is basketball, right? This is football. Right? Well, it's not two against, whoever, but you get what I'm trying to say. It isn't me against you. See, sometimes you get into a relationship or you get into a marriage and it's supposed to be you and your wife against the world, but you find out that no, your opponent is who you married. You married somebody that's not a wife and that did not want to be married. And you rush things because you didn't want nobody else to have them. Thing is, man, you gotta learn how to control your emotions to be okay with somebody leaving your life, walking out of your life, even though it's gonna hurt for a while. Sure. But hey, man, don't waste no time with somebody who's not a team player, who's not a teammate with you. You need a teammate. No, you're not a partner. This is my partner right here. This is my partner, them right here. No. You're supposed to be my teammate. You're supposed to be my wife, right? That meaning is supposed to be more than a teammate. You get into a relationship, there's no teamwork there at all coming from her. It's just like, yeah, fuck out of here. All right, so the only time, there's never a good time. Don't get married, and if there is a good time, she got to get on her knee. That shows that she's 110% interested in you. She 110% wants to be married. Other than that, man, I'm not trying to put marriage on your mind. I don't want marriage on your mind. Don't move in with these hoes either. Don't move in, or don't let them move in with you. Unless they're a wife. All right, man, I'm over them out. You guys take care. Hit the like button. Share this video. Check out the Patreon video. Okay. Oh shit. Check out the Patreon. Check out the Patreon page. I'm over them out. You guys take care. Peace.